Le gasp! A new super rare piece of the PlayStation Vita's history has just emerged on the internet. I'm gonna buy it! I think I might just be a little bit short. Greetings, fellow Vita fans. This is James with PS Vita at 2 AM, and once again, I'm coming at you with another exciting video. Alright, today's content is brought to you by the letter D. As in, darn, I wish I could afford this piece of PlayStation history. Alright, today's content is going to be a little bit different of a flavor today. Something has emerged online that I wanted to bring to your all's attention. Something very interesting. It's big, it's beautiful, it's the PlayStation Vita prototype unit. Or, if you want to get super technical, the PlayStation Vita prototype not for sale development hardware DIM 3000H84 for those of you technical people out there. Yeah, it seems to have gotten the attention of Vita Island as of late. I don't think there's any doubt about that, and maybe even collectors too at the same time. And hey, with good reason, this item's pretty cool. Now for some of you out there, you might be scratching your head thinking, what the heck is a PlayStation PS Vita prototype unit? As if I haven't said that word already enough times in this past minute of the video. So this unit here is what the standard PlayStation retail version of the system could've, would've, maybe even in some cases should have been, depending on your outlook on it. Definitely with the should've part, but we'll get to that in a minute. In a nutshell, it's an early design of the Vita. Now, all jokes aside... that was a joke? Just ignore him. The thing you're probably noticing right off the bat is how much this device resembles a PSP GO. The PSP GO did arrive in the West sometime in 2009, and it's undetermined as to what time Sony was kind of tinkering around with this early design of the Vita. It more than likely was sometime around that era, maybe a year or so forward. And to them, they probably thought, well, we already have this new cool sleek design, thinking that it's probably most likely going to be the future of gaming handhelds. So they thought, why not just use this concept for at least our prototype? Or who knows, they may have just wanted it to straight up look like this from the beginning. Plot twist! Which is made even more apparent, as you can see here, from the flip out part, where if you act now, you get a cool D-pad, 2 thumbsticks, start and select, and you know, your casual triangle, square, X, and circle buttons, but only if you act now. See, Sony, you should totally hire me for your marketing team. If you need me, I'll be here all day. All day. You even have the cool little side speakers on each, well, side. And the thing you're probably noticing is that little bulgy part sticking out at the bottom. Now if we look at the back here, it has the little not for sale logo, made in Japan. And as you can see, the seller has hidden some of the other codes on it, aka serial numbers and whatnot, I'm sure for various reasons. But it still has the camera in the back, and it still has the very, very cool touch features, which even though I did like them, yeah, it wasn't a huge part of the PlayStation Vita's appeal, at least not in my opinion. Has the L1 and R2 buttons up there. Now here's where I start to get a little bit envious of what we got compared to the standard retail version. Yep, I'm shaking my fist angrily as we speak. From what I've heard, these prototype units actually came with 12 gigabytes of storage built right onto the system itself. Yeah, that's just a wee bit more than what we got with the retail version, which I think was only a whopping 1 gigabytes of storage, and that was only with the 2000 model. Darn it, Sony, you're breaking my heart! And as you can tell from the system software here, it's on 0.990. Call me crazy here, but I think the Flow's various hacks would work on this device. And then in the back, we can see here the huge not for sale sign. Almost like they're intentionally insinuating that this thing is forbidden and we're not supposed to get our hands on it. This device has not been authorized as required by the rules of the Federal Communications Commission. This device is not and may not be offered for sale or lease or sold or leased, which I think they just said twice in the same sentence, until authorization is obtained. This device is being imported for testing, evaluation, or suitability for marketing only and not for sale. Now in the back part, that little bulgy part I told you about earlier, if you thought we were all envious before, you ain't seen nothing yet. On the left we have a headphone jack, and on the far right we have a standard plug for a charging unit, which I think was the same as the PSP's as far as I'm aware. And as you can see, we have 3 slots here at the bottom, all of which are pretty standard, but the one that I'm most envious of is the middle one. That, my friends, is an HDMI output, meaning that you can actually hook this device up to one of your flat screen TVs and play your games on your flat screen. So one might say that this unit actually comes in with a built-in PlayStation Vita TV right off the get-go, and this was way before it even launched. Now as you can see here, we have some beta elements, or these might even heck be alpha elements for all we know. The PlayStation Store had a preview both for its title store and its regional store as well, probably kind of deciding on what they wanted the layout to look like. We also have a package installer. Wonder if Sony was trying to hack their own unit. And as you can see from here, music, videos, content manager, settings, and app home. Again, probably a thing for the devs to create certain apps for the device and how they wanted them to look. Content manager and settings looks pretty much the same, but music and videos definitely has some beta elements as far as its little bubble is concerned. Now here we see the party, friends, photos, messages, and trophy settings. Probably the biggest differences is on the friends listing here. As you can see, maybe one of the developers was named Marcus, or I think that's Michael? I can't really tell. Party bubble looked a little bit different, as well as the photos, but not to that large of an extent. Messages and trophies are kind of, for the most part, about the same. Maybe just with a different color scheme. And now here is where things get even more envious. Yep, I'm going to be using that word a lot in this video, as you can tell. We have, of course, the volume plus and negative. Once again, pretty standard, but like last time, it has something even more awesome. Something that I think most of us would agree would have been great to have with our units. Yep. You are seeing this correctly, everyone. The early prototype unit did not use a proprietary memory card, which makes sense as Sony probably didn't even have that idea implemented just yet. Or it was made this way more for convenience sake. And here the seller took a picture of the settings menu. Everything for the most part looks roughly about the same, not really any huge difference worth noting on this part. Okay, now here is some of the information that the seller has on the actual eBay listing. This is it. This is the rarest and most sought after PlayStation Vita hardware ever. This is the famous PlayStation Vita prototype that has been leaked and discussed all over the web in 2014 through 2015. The system is in very good shape given the nature of the prototype hardware. It's fully functional and the original SD card with development files are still on there, which is probably my most favorite part of this listing. Could you imagine we might actually have some unreleased beta games? Hey, you never know. One lucky person is sure going to be able to find that out. The HDMI video feature works perfectly. The system doesn't have a built-in internal battery as a result. It needs a power supply source to operate. And on this listing, you will receive one prototype DEM 3000H84 with original SD card, one power supply with US plug, one HDMI cable, one prototype LAN adapter, not pictured. Darn you, seller, I really wanted to see that. Yeah, it's just completely amazing that one of these has finally at long last surfaced. You really don't see these pop up very often, as in like ever. For me personally, this is the very first time I've ever seen one of these available to buy on the internet. And trust me, I look quite often for PlayStation Vita merchandise, as I'm sure many of you do as well. And heck, I can barely even find myself a PlayStation Vita poster, let alone a cool awesome piece like this. I don't know, it's just really hard to put into words. Just the history surrounding all this, to be able to own something so rare and great, something from the Vita's origins. And I guess that saying can go for any type of media. Just the fact of being able to own a piece of something you love, something that's beyond the norm, is always something the fans are looking for. Did I just get a little bit poetic there? I think I just did.
That was deep, bro. Very deep.
Oh, why thank you, disembodied voice. Well, Vita Island, that'll pretty much cover everything that I have to say on this. Just something I wanted to bring to your all's attention in case you weren't aware of this little interesting tidbit that happened to appear online. And hey, if you have an extra $20,000 laying around, maybe you might end up being one of the lucky people that purchased this. Check under your sofa. Heck, you might have that cash lying under there somewhere as we speak. Oh wait, what was I thinking? It's not 20 grand. It's $19,999. Great, perfect. Put me down for 2. But let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. And as always, fellow Vita fans, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means a lot to me. Love you all, and I'll see you next time. The following video has been brought to you in part by Adam Theory, Saul Ramirez, Heston Joseph, and all these wonderfully generous people over at Patreon. I have a number of exclusive perks available for backers, so if you're interested in supporting the channel, check those links down there. Oh, and a link to the prototype unit will also be down there. Unfortunately, that's not one of the Patreon perks I'm offering at this moment. Yeah, sorry about that, guys.